How are indicator species validated for ecosystem health assessment? Imagine trying to understand how healthy a forest or a pond is just by looking at a few animals or plants. That's where indicator species come into play. These special species act like biological barometers, showing us how well or poorly an ecosystem is doing. But how do scientists make sure these species really tell the full story? That's what we're here to find out. First, scientists pick species that are very sensitive to environmental changes. For example, some frogs are great indicators because they react quickly to water pollution. They are affected by changes in water quality, so if their numbers drop, it might mean the water is getting worse. The key is choosing species that respond predictably to specific environmental stressors. They also need to be common enough to monitor easily and live in the area being studied. Once a species is selected, scientists gather data over time. They count how many of these species are around, check their health, and note where they live. This helps create a baseline of what a healthy population looks like. If the numbers suddenly fall or the animals look sick, it signals that something in the environment might be wrong. Monitoring is done regularly, sometimes every few months, to see if conditions improve or worsen. Scientists also compare indicator species with other signs of ecosystem health. They might look at water quality tests or measure how many different types of plants and animals are in the area. If all these indicators point to the same problem, it confirms that the species is a good marker for ecosystem health. This cross-checking makes the validation stronger. In addition, scientists test whether the indicator species respond consistently across different times and places. If a species reacts the same way in several locations or during different seasons, it's a good sign that it's a reliable indicator. They also check if the species' response is directly linked to specific environmental factors, like pollution levels or habitat loss. Sometimes, scientists conduct experiments to see how sensitive a species really is. They might introduce small amounts of a pollutant in a controlled setting and observe how the species reacts. If it reacts quickly and noticeably, it's a good candidate for an indicator. This process helps confirm that the species' response is directly related to environmental health. In the end, validating an indicator species involves a mix of long-term observation, comparison with other data, and controlled experiments. It's about making sure that the species' responses are consistent, predictable, and truly linked to the health of the ecosystem. When scientists do this carefully, they can confidently use these species to monitor and protect ecosystems and their delicate balance.